Hi, it's great to have you here. I'm Dr. Jeannie Asante, and we are going through the AI Unleashed course, and this is Module 1. So, welcome. What we have today is we're going to have a deep dive into ChatGPT, looking first at the prompts, and then showing you some plugins. And I want to also talk about overall, we'll cover the capabilities, how you can customize ChatGPT, and then some limitations. But as promised, during this course, we'll go through how you can leverage your knowledge that you're going to gain and be able to get business ideas and then put business ideas that you already have into action. So let's get started. So let's start with the prompts. And I'm first of course, we're gonna have a demo, but I want to go over what is quite important when it comes to our ChatGPT prompts. So before we do that, actually, I want to make sure that we cover exactly what ChatGPT is. I can't make any assumptions here. So in the webinar, I had explained that GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers. And back in the 2000s was when, as part of the history of AI, we had researchers being able to type in text and get images. And you fast forward several decades, and this is something that many of us use. And so ChatGPT is a technology that is driven by OpenAI, which is right now a Microsoft sponsored organization. And so these models basically learn how to, learn with input and are able to give us more information like that. And they're based on computing systems that are modeled after the structure of the human brain. Those systems are called neural networks, and GPT models are based on neural networks. So these networks can learn patterns and relationships within data and be trained to perform many tasks like processing natural language. So the GPT model has absolutely changed how we do natural language processing, where we have them generating human-like text and, looking at vast amounts of data and fine-tuning that data for specific tasks. So that isn't in isolation, though. The quality of those generated tasks, though, it depends on the prompts that we give to the model. So what we're looking to do today is look at those different techniques and strategies to be able to get effective prompts. This is going to be fun. You're going to learn a lot. And we'll cover like the voice and style guides, how we use formatting, different literary devices. So by the time we finish going over this and looking at the prompts, I want you to be able to prompt ChatGPT and be able to get coherent and relevant text that reflects what you intend for the model to be able to do, get your creativity going to enhance the results that you get. And this is going to help with your understanding of GPT, but that you be able to create intelligent information or intelligent prompts that will be able to assist you effectively. Like we build on this to be able to get to module 3, which is on chatbots. So with that introduction, let's go. First, we want to look at how we use brackets in ChatGPT, because they are able to give you additional context for AI to be able to give you more accurate and relevant responses. So when you use brackets, you can indicate specific information or variables that you can use to guide the AI and focus on certain aspects of a prompt and give more tailored responses. And you can use brackets also to make it easier to your prompt easier to read and understand. And that's useful when you're creating prompts for other people to use. With your character or word count, the maximum character or word count that can be used in a prompt instruction to ChatGPT depends on the platform that you're using or the application that you're using and the version of it. So as a general rule, most platforms will allow you to input prompts up to 2048 characters or 350 words. I recall I had written a white paper and I was trying to get it to split it so I could put it in video. I was being a little lazy, and I was stuck with a maximum. And another time I was trying to create a chatbot and was trying to put in a lot of images. There were like 400 images, and this was for insurance estimation. And by the end of it, I could only do 50 at a time. So that was quite painstaking. And again, because I usually save the prompts that I use for a class in a Word document so that you all can access it. And I think again, for that, it was like 10 or so images at a time. So there is a max that we are limited on. And with that also, you'll find that we are limited. When you're limited, the prompts tend to work better because you have more focus, and the agent is given specific guidelines. They're less likely also to confuse the chatbot, so GPT, or give you off-topic responses, because that can happen. So if you need to provide longer prompts, you just break them down into more specific segments or use multiple prompts. And as we go along, or as you do this more practice, you'll know how to engineer your prompts for a better outcome. And just making sure that you use more targeted keywords or phrases to guide the AI. So looking at instruction, you don't need, what I want to demonstrate here is sometimes you don't need new instructions for every single new chat. It can generate responses based on the input that it received. And so there are many times where I would go back from something that I had done a month ago to continue, and I'm able to use that and keep going. So it is designed to process each chat session independently based on information that it received. But so there isn't a specific prompt that will reset ChatGPT to a particular style, because the model is designed to generate responses based on the input that it receives. Looking at uniqueness, ChatGPT is capable of generating text that is unique in quality and style, but it is very important, if you happen to be working in ChatGPT, there are AI detection tools. And so there are ways that, just to make sure that you're better, you can provide specific and detailed prompts. So as I said earlier, the more specific and detailed your prompt is, the less likely that it'll match existing content and be, detected as AI generated. and after I list through these, I can talk about just ways to improve the results that you get. You can mix and match your topics by combining different topics to create a more unique prompt that is less likely to be detected as AI generated. So, for example, you could ask ChatGPT to write a story about a futuristic world where animals have gained the ability to communicate with humans. Just make it, make it different. Using colloquial language, everyday language and slang can make the generated text sound more human-like and less like it was produced by an AI model. And within ChatGPT, in your settings, you can tell ChatGPT what voice you would like it to produce your responses so that they are specific to you. And then you tell ChatGPT about yourself as well. Make it as long as you want within the settings. So there you are training it with how it comes up with information for you. And then provide feedback. So providing feedback can help improve the quality and style, making it more unique. And so you'll see that once you submit a message, there is a thumbs up or thumbs down. When you, for instance, do a drawing or when it regenerates, it's important to take the time to say thumbs up, thumbs down, or even type in a message to say, I really like this or I really do not like this. There was once where I'd finally got, I was using DALL-E, the image generator, and I'd finally got one of the people to look exactly like I would want them to look all the time, with skin tone, just everything, eyes, nose, and everything. And I did say, going forward, could you please use this one instead of me all the time having to refine it? And ChatGPT did say that it would, and it's kind of stuck to that. And even like when we talk about bias in artificial intelligence, it is worth giving that feedback so that people of color, black and brown people, we're training it so over time it knows that what it is showing, whether it's the colors that we use, caramel or bronze, or that we're training it so that we have better data going forward. So on that note as well, there are those who use different tools. So if you use it, for example, I'm going to use an example, and I have a prompt example of that. You use it for a blog post, to generate blog posts, then it's very important that you reword and use your own words to an extent, rather than just posting it. Now, the example I'm going to use, I just posted it just to demonstrate this to you, but there are sites like Quillbot that you can use to then paraphrase, just so that you reduce the detection. So now I just have a few examples here where examples are: how can entrepreneurs and business professionals develop themselves personally and professionally, and asking the GPT to discuss the importance of continuous learning, self-reflection, seeking feedback, and provide resources and tools for personal and professional development. Number 2 is asking some effective networking and business development strategies for entrepreneurs and business professionals, and discussing the benefits of attending industry events, leveraging social media, and building strategic partnerships. And how can a business attract and retain top talent, asking it to discuss the importance of creating a positive workplace culture, offering competitive compensation and benefits, and providing opportunities for career development and growth. Entering these can help business professionals and entrepreneurs And the last one is, what are the key success factors for entrepreneurs and startups? Discuss the importance of innovation, agility, risk-taking, and provide examples of successful entrepreneurs who embody these traits. Specific and to the point. So looking at some keywords that we want to use here, some tips here are: make sure what you have written is clear, is specific, you're creative, thinking outside the box, that the prompt information is relevant. It should be relevant to the outcome that you want, such as the type of writing, the style, or the tone that you're looking for. An evocative prompt will encourage the AI to create imagery, emotions, and vivid descriptions. And we're going to see more of that in Module 2 when we're looking at art. Looking at the challenge, it should challenge AI, forcing it to think outside the box and provide a unique response. It should be open-ended, allowing it again to explore different ideas and concepts. It should be concise, to the point. Avoid any unnecessary and confusing details, because you will get back unnecessary and confusing data. Action-oriented, encouraging it to engage with the prompt and give you a dynamic response. And of course, unique, so that you avoid generic and overused prompts that will give you uninteresting responses, repetitive, and nothing unique there. Now let's look at some keywords here, especially with Imagine, with the images. So with Imagine, you can prompt it to use creativity, imagination, and getting a more imaginative response. So I use that between Imagine and Create with my image creation. You get a response that's driven by narrative, and encouraging the model to generate a story or scenario. Use the create keyword and specific words like dialogue to encourage the model to generate a more narrative driven response. Explain prompts the model to generate a response that's more informative and educational, and you can use it with other phrases like potential applications to encourage the model to generate more information. For you, and then compare and contrast. I have an example of that. You prompt ChatGPT to generate a response that compares and contrasts two or more things, like concepts or ideas. What if, using what if prompts you to generate a response that explores a hypothetical scenario, encouraging the model to use its imagination again. And describe, using the word describe helps you generate a response that again gives more details about a topic or concept. Using why, you can explain the reasoning behind a concept or idea. Using how, you can explain the process or the steps involved in a particular concept or an idea. Asking, in your opinion, to generate a response that explains the process or steps involved in a particular idea, or giving you an opinion or a viewpoint. And then asking for real world examples. Using this one, you get a response that provides examples, in the real world, and you can get, again, more informative, detailed, and practical responses. then using different perspectives, you get in-depth additions to the conversation. When we use history and cultural significance, we can do that as well. You get more informative and accurate responses. And then potential benefits and risks, you can get in-depth analysis as well. So here we have some examples. I just picked a few. Write a horror story about a haunted house using, now I'm telling it what tone to use, using suspenseful and ominous tone. The next one is write a historical fiction novel about a pivotal moment in history using a detailed and accurate tone. And I'm gonna we'll add this prompt. These prompts that we use will be in your module once we finish the class. Then write a dialogue between two characters who have drastically different perspectives on a controversial issue using authentic and nuanced language. So what I actually do want to do is continue with some tips. There are just a few things that I want to go through as well. So here, I want to continue with talking about tone, which those examples that I gave, and unique ideas. But I will share these, and these are some creative ChatGPT prompts for writing fiction. So here we have create a story where the protagonist is a time traveler who accidentally changes history, using details and research to make the story believable. Here are some, and there are more examples here. And then to develop the AI to provide more relevant responses, we can try some of these. Again, as I said, give clear, specific prompts, use training data that's relevant to your prompt, provide feedback, and giving context. For example, when I was looking for information, and I mentioned this on my webinar, like if you're trying to get information for a child, give context, whether you'll say the 6th grader or 12th grader or a woman in her 30s, give context. And try, again, as I was saying, we are educating. AI continues to be a learning tool. And so give different prompts, because you're feeding the model just the same way as it's giving you information. Use quality data sources. And I find that ChatGPT is quite strict on what it permits. For example, because I don't think we cover it, but licensed information is protected to an extent. So you'd have to say the likeness of somebody or the likeness of a team, just so that we don't have these AI models emulating real life celebrities, actors, characters, sports athletes, just to protect the integrity as best as we can. I do know that artists are still struggling with their work, but the hope is that we'll get there. Use natural language. So again, natural language that we all understand. It could be any language, but just natural language as we speak it. There are literary devices like using metaphors, similes, say as. So as I was saying, using like or as. As you speak, there are more here. You'll find these in the module on the repository. Now, this is really great. So in addition to the literary devices, you have terms that are related to design and style and an era. And you can have styles like 3D, synthwave, retro, the Victorian era. These are really good when it comes again to imaging, minimalism, and so on and so forth. So you'll get that vibe when you draw, but also when you're trying to go back and get information from that far back, those help. So, again, they'll help to add nuance and flavor. Now, we're able to use ChatGPT, again, as I keep referring to, be able to use the applications like Midjourney, DALL-E, which is what's used by ChatGPT, Dream, Blue Willow, and others. And I'll say Bing, where Bing is actually leverages DALL-E anyway. And to note, using Bing images, those are definitely copyrighted. So do not use those images for money to sell. So don't put them on Etsy. You can modify them to an extent, so then it's your original. I use air quotes here. But yeah, you just have to be careful and read the terms and conditions of the application that you're using. I have lots of Midjourney prompts, and I tend to use them for ChatGPT or DALL-E simply because it is easier to use. But it's great, and we'll learn more when we go to Model 2. And so, as we're seeing here, you can do weight modifiers, aspect ratios, and stable diffusion also allows for negative prompting. So again, read the guidelines on those sites, and we'll cover them next week. So this is just a list, but there's Ideogram, Jasper that are not listed here. So this can be updated. We'll come back to these because they're for images. Now this is great, the ACTAS. So act as an historical figure and write a speech addressing a significant event in their lifetime. Act as a travel guide and write a description, but also a good one is act as a travel guide and get me find me flights to Portugal, and you give it a day. We'll talk about that because you'll need plugins for that, so that it can access the browser. It can, current web information. So we can talk about that. And so on and so forth. Act as a storyteller and write a short story about a character's journey of self-discovery. So you're able to, when you use these characters, you're able to get unique responses. And these are the many professions. A great one is act as a coach and provide motivation for me. And I'll make a note to demo that, an example today, but we'll also go much deeper when we're looking at the custom GPTs for Module 3, and be able to look at a chatbot that works with health and fitness. You also have a list of industries, right? So let's see here. What I can say is act as if I am a realtor and I sell real estate, and the prompt would be, give me a list of homes over $600,000 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's an example. And I've seen this too, where someone would ask for something to be written like a poem, and you would say, in the theme, you'd say with the theme of Emily Dickinson or Mark Twain, to put some cynicism to that, and be able to write a prompt to give you more information on that. And you have popular fiction writers where you can say, I guess, write this story in the voice of J.K. Rowling or John Grisham. Actually, that's a favorite of mine, so I am going to use that. That's off the cuff. Do a John Grisham story. So, and then non-fiction authors too here. Because a great one would be, again, just thinking of this, in the writing as Ta-Nehisi Coates. And even though I may not be, in the interest of time, we may not be able to do that in this session, I will, at the very least, get you an example and post it in the group. Then we have famous personalities. You use this as you will. And then popular topics. So especially for food and cooking, you just have a prompt that you can use. Give me recipes, give me Thanksgiving's recipes, give me Memorial Day recipes, July 4th recipes that you can use. And again, I'll share these for those who are career focused or entrepreneurs. Again, you can leverage these topics with popular hobbies. I often use the gardening one because I took that up in the summer. So I became that person surrounded by plants, and that's been very helpful. So we have some questions here that can get you started, and be able to get going. So here are some more tips that, like those that we mentioned. If you want, and this I use because I lecture at a university. So use a formal academic tone with sophisticated vocabulary and in-depth analysis. If there's information that you're looking for, it's a start. And then you go and you use peer-reviewed articles for your research, or you can write informally and avoid academic phrasing by using simplified language. So here are some templates that will be shared. Can you explain? And you'll say the complex concepts, that's a tongue twister, in a certain number of steps. So here, explain quantum mechanics, quantum computing, let's say, and then common misconceptions about paleo, about keto diet. What are some ways to stay focused while working from home? What could happen if humans could photosynthesize like plants? So these are examples, and then you just, add what you want, or what you want to know. But I think that for those of you who've been using ChatGPT anyway, this will prove very helpful. Now, in the interest of time, what I did was, instead of you seeing me type everything, I typed them in. I prepared for the class, so I typed them in, so that you won't see me typing and I'll make mistakes. And even cut and paste would mean that I'd have to go from screen to screen. So I prepped the things that I knew that we'll talk about. So here we have writing an in-depth. So for me, I said I wanted an in-depth blog post just so that you can see how we can get a set of questions for specific inquiries, and so you can just go for the holidays, and you can replace this without depriving yourself during any set of holidays or any blog information. Say, give me 5 keto recipes, and one thing I didn't prepare was the result of what I posted. So I asked it for healthy food choices, without depriving yourself. So it came up and it said understanding balance and moderation, planning ahead, smart choices at the dinner table, and that is quite that takes discipline, is all I'm going to say. Staying active, during that, on that day, hydration and alcohol consumption. So it's been quite in-depth, but a few things to say on here. I put that straight in the blog post, but this is for ideas. And over the years, every year when there's a holiday, I would provide that information. So when I asked the question, I just said, give me a blog post. But what I could have done was, given it more about, say, for example, exactly what types of food to go for, how to prepare yourself, like if you do overeat, what to do. But for purposes of this, I've just taken that example, and I want to show that I did add it to the blog. Let's see here. Oh, there. And also what I did was I went into DALL-E and asked it, after I did the blog, I said, give me an image to go with the blog. So that just took literally a few minutes. The image took a few minutes, and I've just pasted this. I didn't do any edits, as you can see, but this is for the demo. I've just pasted it in here in the blog, for example. But as I was saying, you also want to make sure that it's not obviously AI generated. So you would put this through Quillbot, or you would edit it yourself before you pasted it wherever you wanted to. Now the next one, I wanted to post this one. It's about custom GPTs. So I'm asking it, please make, and I always say please, and I've said this before, just in case the robots do take over. I'm joking, but at least they'll know that I was polite. So please make a blog post about custom GPTs. Talk about what they are and give examples. Talk about how they impact companies that use them and the skills needed to create them. Talk about the OpenAI custom GPT product and what the future holds for the company with them. And remember, I think I'd said that there's a max of 350 words, depending. There was. I won't go any more on that. So this explains what GPTs are, and then giving you examples for customer service. You have customer service bots. There are those that create content, language translation services, and then the impact on businesses and skills required. Now this, in general, there were specific skills required that you'd learn, right? You'd have to know more about how to process natural languages and machine learning, how AI gets the knowledge, then data science, being able to handle the data sets, knowing about AI, and then programming, most specifically Python now. But now with OpenAI creating the ability for companies to create our own within minutes. That is just that, that's a game changer. And so with that, actually, I will step over here and just show you an example. So I had created a chatbot as soon as they came out, just because I love technology and I'll try anything and everything. I created a chatbot to complement the website and the Facebook page, and I have given a description and asked, what am I eating today? So I just click that, and it'll ask me some questions. And I've just put here, so I want, but the minimum was the 1200, but I'll say my max calories is 3,000, not 300, 3,000. And it's saying, do I want to exclude anything? No exclusions. So this that you're seeing is a custom GPT, because it's customized. The data set that I am using will tell you how many proteins, carbs, and fats, and exactly measure. I found that when in general, you don't have, unless you do a prompt and say, use this data set, that can work as well. But this has been so easy for me, because you also do what workout am I doing today? And a friend of mine came 2 days ago to work out. We've done some cardio, like, okay, you have to do some weights, and like, well, what are we gonna do? And I just asked the chatbot, and we got some workouts, and let it know that I have dumbbells and kettlebells, and a kettlebell, so it and I think and a bench. So this was tailored. So going back to our scripts, that was just to show you with the custom GPT example, to explain a bit more. Now, what I also now want to show is how we can leverage it to solve problems, right? So I had asked, if, say, as a professional in corporate environment, you wanted to get certification, you wanted to change career. I'm asking it, explore the role of certifications and training in enhancing career prospects for a financial advisor, and provide recommendations for relevant programs and courses. And here it gave me, because I wasn't specific, so it gave me US based financial certifications for financial advisors. I'm not familiar with these at all, but it's very helpful for someone who is looking to get into that. Another thing I want to demonstrate is languages. Especially over the past few days, many people are talking about languages. So here, just to demonstrate an example I thought of,
And I do know that I did ask the kind gentleman who works on my lawn. I asked him a question at the time. I can't remember what it was, and but this is an example. And I asked him in Spanish, and he responded because I went to ChatGPT, and he responded, and he said it was the best. That was the best thing, because sometimes he just wouldn't understand what I'm saying. So I've asked. I need to let the team who mows my lawn know that I need the grass treated. How do I say it in Spanish? And it's told me, and it translates to, I'd like the grass to be treated, please. And then he responded with this, and ChatGPT responded that I'll take a look at it on Monday. Okay, so another example I skipped by was we spoke about being specific and giving context, and here was taking steps to remove access from apps on an iPhone, where all I want is for the iPhone to give Life360, iXL.com, phone, text, Canvas, WhatsApp for a minor, giving that context. And it's showing that for iOS devices, where you can go, setting app limits, and then adding, when you say always allowed, then adding the apps that I wanted, and then in screen time, what you can do, and then web restrictions. But it also has for Android as well. And that was fantastic, because even though I consider myself tech savvy, I just didn't know where to start. Okay. And then this one was, just demonstrating the fact that I've invested in a 360-degree photo booth. And this is to show entrepreneurs trying to get business plans or your marketing. So I've invested in a 360-degree photo booth, and can you help me with marketing content? And I've asked, I need to make an announcement post on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and to make it fun. So here's some suggestions, and it's given me the different modes that I can use. So here are the different ones here. And then being able to, complex topics, and for me this was complex because it was dealing with middle school, elementary school math or science or English language arts, very complex for me. And so at a time I had needed questions to be able to prepare for a math science test, and I was able to say specifically for the first reporting period, so that I know that I would get information for just that period, and not further into the school year with questions that she wouldn't be able to answer. And so it's given me physical science, and these are examples, but when I first did it, it didn't break it up like this. This is actually, I did this some months ago, so this is great. It breaks it out into the different subjects, and so it gives me the answers as well. And so all I have to do is, different ways I've applied this is I would send her the questions, and on the school bus, she would, after we've gone over them on the school bus, she'd have to do that instead of going and looking at other stuff, because I would expect the answers back, and then I have the answers and can check, because I don't remember this stuff. It's been a very long time. So those are some examples. So now let's go to looking at some plugins. And what I want to do now is, and we're going to do some practical examples here. Thank you for bearing with me. So I'm gonna just go here, explore. So I'm using a desktop here. So on the desktop, you see most things, but I found that on my computer, on the computer, not so on my cell phone, not so much. On my cell phone, which is an Android, I may have to use the browser version in order to see the plugins come up. So that's just a note for sure if you're on an Android and you don't see anything. And so these plugins are absolutely phenomenal. They help you be able to access information you wouldn't necessarily, especially because even if you have the subscription version, which is GPT-4, of course things are changing all the time, but when many of us first started using GPT-4, it still had data only up until 2022 still, and so you had to, plugins were necessary at the time. Let me show you a few here. They're all amazing. Prompt Perfect is what you would use to... Oh, but before I go and talk about them, let me show you how to get them. You go here to the plugin store and you will see hundreds of plugins that that you can use. And so you go in and see what's best for you. And so that as you're searching, so one, actually, I talked about travel, so I'm going to install those. Haven't had to use them yet. But yeah, I'll use those. Let's see. I'll use this one. So now you'll see that these ones are checked, and it only allows you to check 3, or to be able to use 3 at a time. You'll get an error if you check more. And so using Kayak and finds, I have to a holiday. This is why I did the other ones prior, because I'm slow. Find a holiday package for a family of 4 to Bermuda in January. So it's telling me it's going to begin with Expedia for lodging, and so they know. So please specify the city or area in Bermuda where you'd like to stay. And I have no idea, because this was an example, and so I'm gonna see what it says. Surprise me. And I bet you I'm going to be suitably surprised as well. So here are the top 3 recommendations. So again, it's giving me all detail. Average nightly price is $339, a maximum of 2 guests per room. And this is 4.5 stars. This is amazing. This is amazing, because just for me personally, finding travel is not easy. It takes a lot, especially when you have different people. So it's giving me all these results plus the links to the results. So these options were selected based on your preference for a family of 4, assuming, but I did say, okay, so I did say January. I didn't say December. But what I could do is then again refine it to say, January and so on. But this gives you the gist of what we're looking at. And so I'll give you some recommendations of some additional plugins in the group on the website, but one that that is a must, especially if you will be going with custom GPTs at some point, is the Zapier one, which connects you to over 5,000 apps like Google Sheets, like Gmail, Salesforce. So you all, of course, have to have that plugin. Have an account, but it is saying no, none found. I'll look at that. But yeah, you could go in. So go in and look. Just search. edX helps you find courses and content from universities, and you can expand your knowledge. So you get courses, for example, the financial advisor will be able to get lots of courses from leading universities. So feel free to ask more questions in the group, or